Special Forces? Your mom? Reeves' chuckle bounced off walls of stacked sneakers. Yes, Amani said. Kid, I work with real operators, he smirked. They don't look like your mom. Leave her alone, Kaya muttered, tugging Amani's sleeve. Relax, Reeves said. We're just joking. I'm not, Amani answered. Then prove it, Reeves replied, folding his arms. A passerby frowned. Man, let the kid be. Hey fam, welcome to the channel. Tell us in the comments section where you're watching from and hit subscribe. Your support turns one moment of courage into a movement. Now back to our story. Phones tilted. The mall's AC hummed like a held breath. Amani steadied her shoulders the way her mother taught her, chin level, feet quiet, truth simple. She could feel the eyes, the measuring, the tiny scoffs that said, make me believe you. Reeves tapped the badge clipped to his belt as if it were a gavel. Look, no harm meant. Kids exaggerate. My son swore I was on SWAT his first day of kindergarten. He laughed again, louder this time, inviting the aisle to join. Kaya stepped between them. She's telling the truth. Amani's pulse climbed. Not fear, heat. She pictured the shadow box at home. Folded flag, rows of ribbons, the coin with a unit crest most people never notice. She pictured nights of whispers through bad connections. And her mother's sign-off. Truth doesn't need permission to exist. Sir, Amani said, keeping her voice level, you don't have to believe me. That's convenient, Reeves said. Because I don't. Someone near the register whispered, is this necessary? Another murmured, record it. Red dots winked from 3 camera apps. Amani refused to shrink. You asked. I answered. Reeves leaned in, voice pitched for the growing crowd. Then here's mine. If your mom walks in here in special ops gear, I'll buy those shoes myself. Kaya squeezed Amani's wrist. We can just go. We're fine, Amani said, though her stomach fluttered. She stared past Reeves at the mall entrance. Glass doors breathing shoppers in and out. The floor felt longer than a parade field. Tick-tock, Reeves sang softly. I've got all day. Amani didn't. Her mother's text said running late. 10 out. 10 minutes can feel like 10 miles when a man with a badge is measuring your voice. Still, she held the line. No yelling, no flinching, no bargaining. The air changed. A hush rolled from the food court like a front moving in. Boots heavy, certain hit tile in a steady cadence that made even the music overhead lower itself. Shoppers turned first, then phones, then Reeves. Amani didn't turn. She smiled barely. The kind of smile you save the exact second a promise arrives. Before those boots found Amani, years of quiet training found her first. The nights, the rules. The reason a 15-year-old can stand still while a room tries to bend her. The sound of boots drew closer. Steady as a metronome, then time folded back on itself. 2 nights earlier, Amani stood on a step stool in their apartment hallway, dusting the shadow box no one else was allowed to touch. A folded flag, 3 rows of ribbons, a challenge coin etched with a dagger and lightning bolt, heavy as a promise. Her mother had placed Amani's initials under the glass with a label maker. Property of truth. Rules? Mom would ask before every trip. Amani could recite them without breathing. Stand level. Speak simple. Don't give away what's not yours, but don't give away yourself either. On the kitchen table sat a postcard from Kuwait, edges soft from handling. Truth doesn't need permission to exist. Mom had written in block letters, as if chiseling. On the fridge, a grocery list shared space with a laminated card titled PACE Primary. Alternate, contingency, emergency. Her mother's way of planning everything from comes to car rides. Even school projects had backup plans. So did courage when late-night fear crept in. Amani would watch the short videos Mom had recorded for her. Bootlace tutorials, breathing drills, how to plant your feet when the world tries to move you. Shoulders down, chin level, Mom said into the camera. Stillness is not silence. Stillness is aim. That morning, before the mall, Amani had spotted a fresh scrape on the beret brim, left cooling on the counter. Another ceremony, Mom had texted. Can swing by after. The message came with a photo uniform crisp, eyes steady. the silver insignia catching dawn like a blade. Back in the sneaker aisle, Amani carried those small trainings like hidden armor. When Reeves laughed, she'd tightened her core the way Mom taught her for ruck marches, tension without shake. When he baited her, she switched to simple talk, short sentences, clean edges. When he announced a waiting game, she invoked pace, revising her plan. Primary Mom walks in. Alternate hold the line. Contingency leave with dignity. Emergency call Aunt D. Courage with redundancies. Kaya whispered. He's staring, and Amani almost smiled. Let him. Stillness is aimed. Boots now. Real ones, close. The glass entrance side open, and a crosscurrent of food court chatter drifted in, thinning as people shifted, sensing a front moving through the mall. Amani didn't turn. She felt the room turn for her. Reeves' posture changed first, the lazy fold of his arms replaced by a hitch of uncertainty, a tell he couldn't hide. The aisle lights glinted off a rank tab before the figure even cleared the mannequins. Amani remembered the last thing Mom said before that Kuwait postcard. If someone forces you to choose between being liked and being true, choose truth. You can borrow friends. You cannot borrow a spine. The cadence stopped at the aisle's mouth. Kaya's breath caught. Somewhere a phone case clicked open. Amani finally pivoted, slow and deliberate. Just as Sergeant Major Nicole Richardson stepped into view, beret tucked, sleeve tabs bright, presence like a line drawn on the floor. Reeves' smirk thinned. The crowd's whisper lifted, then settled. Afternoon, Nicole said, voice even, carrying. Is there a reason my daughter needed an audience to speak the truth? The room held its breath. The lesson was about to begin. Is there a reason my daughter needed an audience to speak the truth? Nicole repeated, not louder, just clearer. The words traveled like a plumb line through the aisle. Reeves straightened, his badge catching the fluorescent hum. Evening, ma'am, just resolving a misunderstanding. Nicole's gaze didn't blink. Whose? Silence took a step closer. Shoppers who'd been pretending to browse froze with shirts half folded, phones tilted chest high. Reeves forced a chuckle. Kids said you were special forces. I said that's unusual. Unusual isn't impossible, Nicole said. It's unfamiliar. There's a difference. Kaya eased nearer to Amani, whispering. Stillness is aim, and Amani felt her shoulders unlock. Nicole angled slightly, putting herself between Reeves and the girls without breaking eye contact. You're an officer, Mr. Reeves. Officer Reeves. Then you know tone can escalate or de-escalate. You chose escalate. At a child. He shrugged, confidence returning in small bluff waves. Look, Sergeant Major, kids exaggerate. I was keeping it real. Real is evidence, Nicole said, thumb brushing the edge of her beret. Real is verifiable. Real is not your imagination of what a soldier looks like. A man in a ball cap cleared his throat. She did say it nice, officer. You didn't. Reeves ignored him. With respect, ma'am, Special Forces is elite. Green Berets, SEALs, Delta. It takes years. Nicole's mouth tilted. 22, to be precise. She pivoted her sleeve a fraction. Rank, tabs, a subdued unit patch. The kind of grammar Reeves suddenly didn't read. He stared, then found a ledge. I never said you weren't qualified. You said by laughter that my daughter was lying. Nicole's voice softened, which somehow weighed more. You tried to make spectacle of her truth. A ripple moved through the crowd. Not applause alignment. Reeves' jaw set. Fine, maybe I went too far. But this is a mall, not a courtroom. No harm done. Nicole turned to Amani. Harm? Amani swallowed. It felt like I was small on purpose. Understood. Nicole faced Reeves again. Impact logged. Now course correction. He lifted his chin. You want an apology? I want a demonstration of respect. Nicole stepped aside, giving him a direct line to Amani. Use your training. Address the citizen you misjudged. Specific, accountable, present tense. The pause stretched, camera lenses tightening. Reeves' shoulders dropped a notch. He faced Amani. I was wrong, he said, words rough. I laughed at you. I didn't listen. You told the truth. I made you feel small. I'm sorry. Amani held his eyes a second longer than comfort allowed, then nodded once. Okay, Nicole inclined her head, accepting, not absolving. Good first step. From the register line, a woman murmured, "That's how you do it." Reeves exhaled, trying to exit the moment. "We done here?" "Almost," Nicole said. "There's a larger note." She shifted, addressing the whole aisle. "If a story doesn't fit your picture, widen the frame. Don't reach for ridicule. Reach for questions." A few people lowered their phones, actually listening now. Reeves rubbed his neck. "Can I ask one?" "Ask. What do you tell her?" He gestured at Amani. "About fear?" Nicole glanced at her daughter. "That courage is a skill. You practice it before you need it." Reeves nodded, something unguarded creasing his face. "Copy." He stepped back, less the center of gravity than a man relearning his footing. The tension thinned. People resumed breathing. Nicole turned to Amani and Kaya. "Shoes?" Amani hesitated, then chose the pair she'd wanted all along. The clerk rang them up, hands a little shaky from proximity, to a moment. As they headed for the exit, Reeves called, not quite loud, "Sergeant Major, thank you for the correction." Nicole didn't turn. "For the adjustment," she said. "Corrections stick. Adjustments move." The doors side open to the bright corridor. Behind them, a lesson stage shelved in the sneaker aisle filed under respect. Immediate use. Outside, Amani matched her mother's cadence. The next phase, backstory and consequence, waited past the food court's glow. They walked in cadence down the echoing concourse, Nicole's quiet stride, Amani's lighter steps landing inside it, Kaya a half beat behind. Past the cinnamon roll stand, the noise of the mall returned, ordinary again, as if aisles didn't just learn a new language. "Mom," Amani said, voice low. "Did I make it worse by saying it out loud?" Nicole didn't slow. "You made it true in public. That's rarely worse." Kaya grinned. "And you got your shoes." They reached a bench beneath a skylight. Nicole set the shopping bag down and unrolled her sleeves. "Sit." The order was gentle, irresistible. When they sat, she rested her beret on the bag. "You want backstory," Nicole said, reading Amani's eyes. "Here's the short version. Basic at Benning," she began, gaze tipped to the glass above. "Selection when people said I shouldn't try. 3 times up a mountain with 80 pounds because twice didn't prove anything. A team that stopped saying first and started saying hours. Deployments where the map ran out and the mission didn't. Nights I was terrified but moved anyway because standing still was worse." Amani absorbed it like warmth. "Did people laugh then?" "Some," Nicole said. "I learned to spend my energy on the climb, not the echo." Kaya nudged Amani. "Write that down." From down the corridor, a mall security officer approached, hat in hand. "Ma'am, Sergeant Major Richardson?" He looked nervous. "We, replayed the cameras. I just wanted to say that shouldn't have happened to your kid. If you'd like to file." Nicole shook her head. "We don't need paperwork to fix tone. But thank you for asking." He nodded, relieved, and left. A phone buzzed on the bench. Amani glanced at the screen, group chat exploding. "Was that you?" "Girl, your mom is legit." A link followed. A short clip already circulating. Reeves' apology. Nicole's line about widening the frame. The caption read, "When mom is the lesson." Amani's stomach fluttered. "It's everywhere." Nicole angled the phone away. "Let it be everywhere for a minute. Then let it settle. Viral isn't victory. Change is." Kaya pointed toward a storefront mirror. "You two look like a poster." In the glass, Amani saw it. A soldier's silhouette and a girl standing tall beside it, not smaller. Just earlier. "How do I practice?" "Courage?" Amani asked. Nicole counted on her fingers. 1. Breathe until your voice has a floor. 2. Pick a sentence you can stand in. Keep it short. 3. If they mock you, measure impact, not intent. 4. Ask for a fix. 5. When the moment ends, go eat. Eat? Kaya laughed. "I can do that one." A cluster of teens walked by, slowed. One of them, shy, hoodie up, murmured, "Ma'am? Thanks, my mom drives a bus. People act like that's small." Nicole smiled. "The city stops without your mom." The boy nodded, shoulders lifting as he left. Nicole stood. Stride check. They fell in beside her. As they neared the exit, Amani squeezed her mother's hand. "Today felt like a test." "It was," Nicole said. "Not of you alone, of the room. You helped it pass." Outside, evening light showed a world unchanged and newly possible. Ahead waited dinner, homework, and the next chapter, the part where a private truth becomes a public standard. By morning, the clip had done what clips do, jumped fences. At breakfast, Amani watched classmates repost it with captions that made her cheeks heat. She didn't blink. "Say it with your chest." Nicole set oatmeal in front of her. "Eat first, scroll later. Fame is just hunger with better lighting." "Are we going to the station?" Amani asked. Nicole nodded. "Accountability isn't an accident." The precinct lobby smelled like disinfectant and coffee. Fluorescent lights hummed. Behind glass, the desk sergeant looked up, recognized Nicole's uniform, and straightened. "Sergeant Major, how can we help?" Nicole's tone was even. "We're here to lodge a complaint and make a recommendation." A lieutenant appeared, gray at the temples, careful in his words. "We saw the video," he began. "Officer Reeves is on administrative leave pending review. Policy will handle his badge," Nicole said. "I'm here about your rooms. You need a 30-minute block in in-service called Widen the Frame. Content: how to check assumptions before they escape your mouth." The lieutenant blinked. "We can discuss. We can pilot it," Nicole replied. "I've taught teams under worse lighting." Amani stood a little taller at her side, the lobby suddenly feeling like a classroom that hadn't known it was one. The lieutenant glanced at her. "And you, young lady?" "I'd add 5 minutes on how to apologize like you mean it," Amani said. "Look at the person. Name what you did. Don't say if." The sergeant behind glass suppressed a smile. The lieutenant cleared his throat. "Point taken." Outside, the autumn air felt cleaner. Kaya jogged up from the sidewalk, breath puffing. "Assembly at school today. They want you two to speak." Amani's stomach fluttered. "Me? You," Nicole said. "I'll flank." The gym bleachers groaned under the weight of 8th graders pretending not to care. A banner for Respect Week hung askew. The principal introduced them with the caution of someone who feared both headlines and silence. Microphone in hand, Nicole kept it simple. "You've seen a video," she said. "I want you to see the work." She lifted the mic toward Amani. Amani's hands shook until they didn't. "I didn't set out to go viral," she began. "I just told the truth about my mom." She scanned the bleachers and found faces she knew, some kind, some curious, some skeptical. If someone laughs at you for being proud, that's not a sign to be smaller. It's a sign they need a bigger frame. Kaya whooped once, a spark that softened the room. A hand shot up. "Devon from science. What if the adult is the one laughing?" "Measure impact, not intent," Amani said, borrowing the line that had steadied her. "Then ask for a fix." Later, as the crowd trickled out, the principal approached, earnest. "Would you help us draft a student affirmation for the morning announcements?" Amani blinked. "Like what?" "Something to stand in." Amani thought, then spoke. "Our truth doesn't need permission. Our respect doesn't have conditions." The principal nodded, jotting it down like a promise. That evening, an email chimed. The precinct accepted Nicole's pilot. Another message followed from Officer Reeves, requesting a meeting. No defensiveness, just a date and time. Nicole set her phone down. "Rooms are learning," she said, "because you pushed the frame." Kaya added. Amani exhaled a long, even breath that felt like crossing a finish line and finding a door. "Because we didn't shrink," she said, and the house felt bigger for it. The community room at the library smelled like paper and lemon cleaner. Folding chairs formed a loose circle. No podiums, no stage. Nicole chose the seat beside Amani, not in front of her. Kaya slid in on Amani's other side, whispering, "If he says if, I'm booing in my heart." Officer Reeves entered without a uniform, plain shirt. sleeves rolled, eyes rimmed by a night that hadn't slept well. He paused at the door, clocked the circle, then took the chair directly across from Amani. "Thank you for coming," Nicole said. "Ground rules, listen to understand, name impact, offer a next step." Reeves nodded, palms on his knees. "I watched that clip more times than I wanted," he began. "Each replay peeled away an excuse I liked. I came to apologize to you, Amani." His voice didn't reach for volume. "I laughed at you. I called your truth a fairy tale. I used my badge like a ladder to stand over you. That was wrong." The room held its breath. No if, no sorry you felt. Amani met his eyes. "Why did you think it was a joke?" He swallowed. "Because the picture in my head of special forces was smaller than reality. And because you were a kid telling it with pride. I mistook my limits for the world's." Kaya mouthed bars. Nicole kept her gaze steady. "Impact? I humiliated you in public," he said. "Taught a crowd to doubt you. Put a crack in a place that should be safe." Amani exhaled. "Okay," she said softly. "So what's your fix?" Reeves reached into a folder and set 2 items on the table, a printed schedule and a laminated card. "I asked to teach the first 15 minutes of Sergeant Major's Widen the Frame block to model being wrong. And this," he tapped the card, "is our new apology protocol for the precinct. 3 sentences. I did X, it caused Y, I will do Z, it's posted in the squad room." Kaya leaned toward Amani. He brought receipts. A hand rose from the circle. It was the woman from the store, the one with the clearance basket. "Words are easy," she said gently. "What about when nobody's filming?" Reeves nodded. "I added a line to my citations. Did you feel respected in this interaction? Signed by me. Small, traceable, audited monthly." Kaya whispered, "Okay, Data." Amani folded her hands. "There's one more thing," she said. "You promised sneakers if my mom walked in uniform." A nervous laugh rippled. Reeves stood. "I did." He pulled a box from his chair, a pair Amani had stared at for months. He didn't offer them like a prize. He set them on the floor between them. "Not payment," he said. "An acknowledgement I spoke too soon." Amani looked to Nicole. Her mother's nod was tiny but bright. "Thank you," Amani said, and the word felt like reclaiming land. Nicole turned to the circle. "Accountability is a verb. Today we practiced it." After the session, people drifted into small knots, neighbors swapping numbers. The librarian pinning a flyer for next week's workshop. Reeves lingered, then approached Amani again. "I can't undo that moment," he said, "but I can make different ones." "Then do," Amani replied. "Where people aren't watching." Outside, twilight thinned the edges of the day. Amani laced up the new sneakers, testing their spring. Kaya grinned. "How do they feel?" "Like forward," Amani said. Nicole squeezed her shoulder. "Chapter 7, she murmured. "Yeah," Amani smiled, stepping into the evening. "Let's write it." By Friday, the flyer Nicole pinned up at the library had multiplied cafes, the rec center, even the grocery store corkboard. "Widen the Frame, a living lesson." 2 lines beneath, hosted by SGT, Madge, Nicole Richardson, and Officer Colton Reeves. Youth co-lead, Amani Richardson. Amani read that last line 3 times at breakfast. "Co-lead," she whispered, like it might blow away if she breathed too hard. "Own it," Nicole said, sliding over oatmeal and a pen. "Underline what you want to say out loud." At Northside Middle, Kaya drummed a pencil on the desk. "We're not just attending, we're headlining," she grinned. Wardrobe, truth, and sneakers. The gym filled that evening, folding chairs across the hardwood. A squeaky mic, a projector balanced on a stack of yearbooks. Reeves arrived early, lugging a box of laminated cards. No badge, no swagger. He wore the same plain shirt from the library and the same deliberate humility. He handed Amani the clicker. "You open?" he asked. Amani looked to the doorway where people kept streaming in, teachers, parents, kids still in team jerseys. She felt the old heat of attention rise, then remembered Nicole's hand at her shoulder in the store. The circle at the library, the 3-sentence apology. She nodded. "I open." Nicole introduced the session as a drill. Identify the frame. Widen it. Name the impact. Choose the next step. Then she stepped back and let the room lean toward Amani. My truth was laughed at. Amani began, voice steady through the cheap Pia. It made me feel small. Today is about making room, so the next kid doesn't have to argue to be believed. She clicked. Slide 1. A single word assumption stamped across a narrow photo. Slide 2. Widen to reveal context. A soldier's sleeve with a name tape. Richardson. A murmur moved over the chairs. Reeves took his cue. I used to think admitting I was wrong would shrink me, he said. Turns out it was the first time I showed up at full size. He held up the laminated card. I get exit caused why I will do. Z, we're piloting this in roll call and publishing monthly summaries. If it helps us be 5% better, that's lives changed. Hands shot up. A 6th grader asked, what if the person won't listen? Kaya leaned into the mic. Then you build a crowd that will. Laughter warmed the rafters. They broke into stations. At Listen to Understand, pairs practiced repeating each other's words before replying. At Widen the Frame, students sorted photos close-cropped, then revealed talking about how fast the brain fills the unknown with bias. At Next Step, kids wrote real actions on sticky notes. Speak up in the lunch line. Email the principal about hall passes. Ask my uncle to stop saying, you people. The wall bloomed with promises. Near the bleachers, a veteran in a faded cap pressed 2 fingers to his brow and told Nicole softly, saw a lot, ma'am. Didn't think I'd see this. She shook his hand. It's a different kind of service. During Q&A, a teacher asked Amani, what do you want from us when the next Reeves moment happens? Don't wait for a uniform to walk in, Amani said. Be the first adult who believes the kid. Applause rose like weather dot as the bleachers emptied. Reeves rolled up extension cords and paused beside Amani. Tomorrow I'm facilitating this at the precinct, he said. Would you audit me? Amani blinked. Me? You, he nodded. If I center myself, call it. Kaya elbowed Amani. New job title, Truth Referee. Amani smiled. Deal. They stepped outside into evening air, cicadas stitching a low chorus through the trees. The gym lights clicked off behind them, leaving the parking lot in soft pools of yellow. Nicole locked the door, then slung an arm around both girls. What's it feel like? She asked. Amani looked down at the scuffed floor of the world and then out at the stretch of it. Like the frame's bigger, she said. And we've only started. A week later, the gym's folding chairs were replaced by the City Hall dais. The mayor tapped the mic, cameras blinked awake, and a framed resolution lay on velvet. Widen the Frame Initiative. Adopted Citywid. Nicole stood in dress uniform beside Amani and Kaya. Reeves, plainclothes, hands clasped, took his place a step back. The clerk read the motion. Quarterly bias audits in every precinct and school. Youth co-leads in community forums. The 3-sentence apology protocol in all city departments. As the vote lit up the board, the room breathed out. Reeves glanced at Amani. You auditing me at roll call this afternoon? She grinned. Wouldn't miss it. Outside, the square had turned into a block party. The library table gave away printouts of the apology card. A science teacher taught listen-back drills with a whistle. Someone had stenciled chalk letters across the pavement. Truth doesn't need permission. A boy in a baseball cap tugged Amani's sleeve. What if people laugh again? They will, she said honestly. And then someone else will stop them sooner because you spoke today. The boy nodded, pocketing the card like it was a talisman. At the edge of the crowd, a familiar face waited, the woman from the clearance rack. She squeezed Amani's hand. I didn't speak up in the store. Next time I will. Amani felt the small click of something locking into place. Laughter had once made her small. Now her voice made other people taller. Nicole's phone buzzed. A text from a base commander. Heard about your city. Send the training deck? Nicole smiled. Copy that, she murmured, then turned to Reeves. Ready to teach what you learned? He nodded. Ready to learn while I teach. They walked together toward the precinct soldier, teen. Officer carrying a box of laminated cards, and the kind of quiet built by doing the right thing twice. Once in public, and then again when no one is clapping. On the station steps, Amani paused, face to the sun. She remembered the sting of fluorescent lights, the weight of strangers' eyes, the moment boots clicked on tile and the frame widened enough to fit the truth. She breathed in and stepped through the door. First. Be part of the movement. If this story moved you, turn one moment into momentum. Comment where you're watching from and name a time you believed someone first. Subscribe and turn on notifications, new justice stories and toolkits. Drop weekly. Share this video with one friend who needs the reminder. Respect costs nothing, but its absence costs others everything. Take the 3-sentence pledge today. I did X. It caused Y. I will do Z. Post yours below. Help. Model real accountability. We're building a community where kids don't have to wait for a uniform to be believed. Add your voice. Grow the frame.